Hi everypony! Guess I'm in charge of DRWolf's channel. Hope no pony minds me sending him packing. He was, well, just a little on the loopy side there. Don't worry by the way, we got a hold of the good doctor and cleared everything up. Not really sure who else is in the lineup so far as videos go, but I'm sure it won't be a problem. Now, what to talk about that doesn't hinge on my own crazy headcanons? I know, a new crazy headcanon. Remember that tree thingy that appeared in the season premiere? Ah, the Tree of Harmony, one of the most equalizing forces in all of fiction and reality. Before I get into this, I want you to know how I view harmony and chaos in Equestria a little. Discord and the other more anarchic elements of Equestria are kept in the shadows, treated with distrust and fear, but with a very real chance of asserting their ambitions on the world if they ever got the right chance. Harmony is the ruling force in Equestria, kept there by the union of ponies with a few emergency saves by the elements of harmony. So here's the question that's always been around. What are the elements of harmony, and where do they get their power from? Well, half of that has been explained. By being part of the Tree of Harmony, ponies could indirectly harness the power of harmony possessed by this physical manifestation of harmony. The problem here is that we have a physical manifestation of chaos in the form of Discord, all-powerful Draconequus of doom, bender of all reality, while the tree is a tree. It can't do anything besides defend itself, so you would think it pointless or at least extremely selfish. You'd be right and wrong at the same time. The tree is selfish and selfless in the fact that it could save the world but doesn't do it by itself. Think about it like this. If you could press a button and end the world's problems, you would, right? However, you need to keep in mind that you just made all these decisions for so many more people and asserted your will over them, and it was your sole decision to do so. No matter how good the act, you just forced a single person's will over the rest of the globe. No singular sentient thing can make a decision like that and remain harmonious, because it's what's right from your viewpoint. No matter how good the intent and how bold the opinion, you did something extremely chaotic, because you shaped the world as you saw fit, which is the definition of what Discord did both times he was out prior to keep calm and flutter on. Because of this, the tree is a harmonious force due to the fact that it just sits there. It doesn't exert its will in any particular way, but instead sits there and makes sure that any pony who needs it can find and make use of the awesome mystical powers it possesses. This is because, as I said before, it is an equalizing force. Even if you find it, you still need multiple ponies to be able to fire it off, and if you fire it off for the wrong reasons, well, Celestia can tell you what happens then. It stands as the final option, the last resort for the powers of harmony and equality to fight off the forces no pony could ever pray stop on their own. Forces like Sombra, Chrysalis, and Discord, whose raw power, ambition, or evil allow them every opportunity for power others might pass up. Whose raw power, ambition, or evil allow them every opportunity for power others might pass up. Now, for the extremely important details of how the tree looks. This is no silly little choice, no, this is very important. First, let's start with the fact that it is crystal. Unaging, unchanging, a beacon of light for pony kind that could have very easily held the crystal heart in its branches once. The crystal heart is an artifact that allows the collective feelings of a nation to be broadcast worldwide, something harmonious even when the majority feels oppressed and afraid. That's why they could probably use an elected government to avoid some pony like Sombra, but Cadence will work for now. Then there are the Cutie Marks. Those of Celestia, Luna, and Twilight. Luna and Celestia, at least in my headcanons, are naturally born alicorns, blessed from birth to provide stable and just rule for Equestria should the regular ponies of Equestria be unable to provide it for themselves. By Celestia and Luna becoming immortal, Equestria got to avoid the nasty business of succession and the chaos it brings. If the tree is an embodiment of harmony, then the existence of beings who live for the sake of harmony would of course be recorded on it. So why is Twilight's cutie mark there? After all, it's been there for 1,000 years, and she's been alive and or an alicorn for a significantly smaller amount of time. This goes back to Twilight's element of harmony, and the element that led to her ascension. That symbol represents friendship, and the miracles that it brings. It is also the strongest harmonious force in the world, and the only thing that can truly unite it. You may wonder why I claim friendship to be more unifying than love, and that's for a good reason. Yes, true love can bring two people together, but only for themselves and their family. All other forms of love can change, and are much closer to admiration or lust than actual love, and can tear people apart as much as bring them together. Friendship, on the other hand, is in limitless supply, and can be used to bind all ponies together in a much nicer way than chains. Hence why it is on the Tree of Harmony. Now, it does seem like Cadence isn't included. Maybe, but neither I nor the tree care. At all. So, the box. I don't care and I'm willing to wait. When I made this, it seemed like two of the keys had been found. So my guess is that I will give the main 6 rainbow powers similar to the Elements of Harmony, but I don't know and I'm perfectly fine with waiting. I will, however, talk about why, after a good solid 1,000 years of fighting, the tree fell to the Plunder Seeds and to Discord's chaotic sabotage. Just a theory, but since the Elements of Harmony were taken from the tree, they were used twice by the sisters. Once against Discord, and again against Nightmare Moon. Then the second set of Element Bearers came around, and, well, let's take a look. Nightmare Moon was released and then defeated by the Elements. After a season, Discord's prison, also made by the Elements, broke down, forcing the Element Bearers to strike him down the same way. Things are fairly stable until the end of Season 3, when they unseal Discord and create an Alicorn. Well, what if the Elements drain from the standing power the tree has each time they're used? Think about it like this. When it has the elements, it has 100% of its power. If you take away the elements, it goes down to, say, 30%. Trapping Luna took 5%, and trapping Discord took another 5%. When Luna was released, it got back the 5%, keeping her there. Same goes for Discord. However, it took, let's say, 3% of the tree's power to vanquish Nightmare Moon, and since its uber magical rechargeable battery was gone, that couldn't be regained. Now before continuing, let's say it takes a minimum of 10% of the tree's standing power to keep the Plunder Seeds away, cause that's important. Resealing Discord took that 5% back away from the tree. Releasing Discord spent 3% of that because they used the elements to release him rather than the enchantment weakening, kinda like the penalty for withdrawing from a savings account before this amount of time you agreed upon with the bank is up. Finally, Twilight is made into an Alicorn using the elements, a trick that saps away, let's say, 7% of the tree's strength. But wait, that's only 13%. Well, let's remember that this is the source from which all harmonious magic is taken from, and that love counts as such. Cadence, through all these events, has also been a standing Alicorn, and although the elements weren't involved, such a feat no doubt took its toll on the tree, say 7%. The last straw, the thing that caused the seeds to get that tiny advantage they need to get it from 10% remaining to say 9.5%, is the spell Celestia taught Twilight. The summoning spell that can force even Discord to come where you want. That last little strain, no matter how minor, is still more than the tree's precious magical reserves could take while still defending it. Keep in mind, please, that this was an example, and these numbers are just a way of illustrating a point, not hard fact or some such like that. Well, I hope to have lived up to the standards that a channel like DRWolf sets, and that you all weren't too disappointed not having a good doctor around. DRWolf is one of the analysts I really admire because of how unbelievably regularly he produces content. In fact, producing regularly is one of the things I admire in any content producer, and you just can't beat a record like 4 videos a week. So, since a lot of you won't be seeing me ever again, this is Lionspace saying I am honored to be on this channel, and terrified of the attention this video might get.